What? Series 4, number 4. This one's called Blessed and Beaten Up. Oh, that sounds a bit scary, but we'll go on. Again from Matthew chapter 5, verses 10 and 11. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Oh. Now, these are crazy verses when you think about it. Let's be real. Being persecuted or abused is not fun. But here it says you are blessed if it happens. Want to get blessed? Well, I suppose you can come up here and I'll give you a thumping if you want. No, it doesn't work that way, does it? That's not what it is about. Jesus' words show that persecution is typically either verbal or violent. Verbal forms include insult and slander. The word persecution includes acts of physical violence, such as a slap, which is mentioned further on in Matthew chapter 5. And listen to this in Matthew 5:38. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other one also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. It nearly says, let yourself be abused. Well, no, it doesn't, because we need to look at the whole passage. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Notice the bits after the persecuted word, because of doing the right thing. Persecuted because of this righteousness concept. Righteousness is all about doing the right thing. And if we're persecuted for doing right, then there's an injustice to it. And that's what this is about. Doing the right thing, even though the consequences may be really hard. I could give examples of people standing up for their faith in Jesus, even to a point where they've been killed and martyred. Yet that kind of example is a bit vague to us. In our culture, we're pretty safe from that level of abuse. The eye for an eye thing is about not reacting to evil or to wrong. The point of this blessing is to put into perspective what is the most beneficial in the big picture of things. Being right, being truthful, living with integrity is important. So important that we should be willing to cop abuse for it. Think about it, your own situation. Doing the right thing can have consequences. The concept continues in that next blessing straight afterwards. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Crikey, it sounds like a job description for me in some ways. And it is a job description for some missionaries and people like that. This is specifically about being abused because of your faith in Jesus. This one is worrying. It assumes we will get a hard time for just being Christians. And notice it says we will be insulted, persecuted, and people will lie about us. Yep, Jesus had all of that happen to him, and we assume that it will happen to us as well. Why? Well, because people who don't know Jesus don't understand why or how we can be Christians. People have been rejecting the message about Jesus and God for thousands of years. And in the Old Testament, the prophets or the messengers of God got badly treated, even killed, for telling the people God's message. So telling the truth. And Jesus did too, didn't he? And so have people all through history. It's happening now in parts of the Middle East and even parts of our country. This is what all of the papers and the news articles are recording. that Christians are being killed for being Christian. But to bring that back home to us, people don't cope with God's truth. That's a reality. That's a reality. We're always trying to explain away Christmas or Easter, aren't they? Jesus asks people to change, and people don't want to do that. But these two verses are talking about sticking to our guns and hanging in there because it's the right thing to do by God. On top of that, we will be blessed for it. We will get some kind of favour from God. That's pretty huge. That's incredibly huge. So this week, hang in there with God, stick to your beliefs, and we'll talk about it all more next week. Bless you.